Hello, I'd like to welcome everybody to Addict Thoughts Entertainment Studios. My name is James, alcoholic and addict. I was in my addiction for 26 years. Through that process, I lost everything. Been clean 7 years, 9 months. And now I'm a college graduate, motivational speaker, published author, and drug and alcohol counselor. I'd like to share with you today a story of mine. The end is near. I remember it was December 2010. I was in a one-bedroom apartment with a futon, a TV, a dining room table and chairs, and a mattress. A garbage bag full of clothes with about 5 or 6 outfits. That's all I had to my name, and an eviction notice on the door. For that whole week, I was trying to drink and drug myself to death. I didn't want to live anymore. This was the lowest point in my life. I wanted to end it all. I couldn't live with it, and I couldn't live without it. And I had nowhere to turn. Around this time, I got a phone call from a friend saying to go over to this church, and they was giving away free dinners and some toys for the kids. It was 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was drunk, and I refused at first. I didn't want to go. She called back, and so I said, okay, I'll go over there. I went across the hall, and I borrowed my friend's car. I didn't have a car at the time. He let me borrow his car to go over there. And I remember on the drive over there, I was just thinking to myself, I just need to turn and run this head-on into a semi. End it all. It'll be quick. It'll be painless. And nobody else will have to put up with me. I won't have to put up with myself. And the only sober thought that came to mind was, it's Christmas time. You don't want to wreck this guy's car. And that's the only reason I didn't do it. Because I didn't want to wreck the man's car. I get over there and I pull up to the church, and I get out and I go in, and they welcome me in, and they're real good people, and they start making me a plate, and I eat and talk to them, and they're packing me some stuff up to go, and, you know, I'm getting ready to go. They take me down in the basement. They let me pick out some toys, and at this time, they have coloring books and Matchbox cars, and, you know, my kids are 12, 13. What kind of father am I to bring my children coloring books and Matchbox cars that I got for free? I get wrapped up. You know, they're carrying all the stuff out to my car for me. They're really nice. And as I'm leaving out, this lady's walking in. And she stops me at the door and she says, do you need to talk about anything? Is there anything wrong? And for the first time in my life, I looked at that woman and I said, I'm an alcoholic. And I need help. Now, I had said it many times before, you know, me and my boys drinking, and they're like, man, you got a problem. You got issues. You can't stop. And I'm an alcoholic. So what? And I would say it all the time. I would say it to my family. I would say it to friends. I didn't care. There's a difference between admitting it and accepting it. Now, I would admit it any time, but I never accepted it until that moment, standing in front of that lady at that church. She took me downstairs into her office, and she sat across from me, and she started to explain to me how she was an alcoholic in recovery. And that she had 8 years clean, and she had her life back, she had a job, she had her relationship with her kids, and all these things. And for the first time in my life, somebody talked to me like that. Somebody let me know that recovery was possible. Now, sure, I had been court-ordered to AA before. I'd been court-ordered to treatment, you know, and I went to treatment, and I was sitting there, and I would say the things that you wanted me to say one day at a time. It works if you work it. And everybody probably looked at me in there and said, he's going to be clean forever. He's got it. And all the while, I'm sitting in that chair thinking, I'm drinking as soon as I get out of here. I went to the AA meetings, and I would sit in there, and I'd go get my slip signed, and I would listen, and I didn't really care what they had to say. They're not like me. I'm different, I had a closed mind. But for the first time in my life, this lady sat down and talked to me and told me that recovery was possible. And I listened. Before I left, she gave me all the resources I need to get into treatment. She wrote down numbers, people to call, people to contact. And she told me if I ever needed any help, to give her a call. I went home that day, and I started calling those treatment centers. And they would tell me, call back later, call back tomorrow, we don't have any beds. Call back tomorrow, don't have any beds. Call back tomorrow, we don't have any beds. This went on for a week, and I'm steady drinking, still trying to drink myself to death. I'm just praying that I don't wake up. But I kept calling, and finally I got frustrated. And I said, you know what? I don't need anyone. I don't need a treatment center. I don't need anybody's help. Tomorrow, I'm waking up. I'm getting a job. I'm changing my life around. And I'll show everyone what I'm made of. I passed out that night. I got up the next day. And the first thing I did was go to the refrigerator. And I cracked the beer. Now, they talk about aha moments in recovery and all that, but I had my aha moment before I even got into recovery, because right there, standing at that refrigerator, I realized that I don't control this. And I never have. For 26 years, I've been doing exactly what alcohol wanted me to do, when it wanted me to do it. I had no control, and I haven't been in control. And it scared me to death. I got back on those phones and I started calling them treatment centers again. Calling daily. Finally, somebody said, can you be here in the morning? Yes, sir, I can. I got ready and I went to treatment that morning, and I walked through that treatment center door, 44 years old, with a garbage bag full of clothes, full of 5 outfits, and nothing else to my name. And I sit down in that chair and I said, how the hell did I get here? With nothing. Again. I approached it differently, though. I went in with an open mind. See, the other times I had a closed mind. I didn't want to hear nothing you had to say because I was drinking anyway. A judge, my mama, friends, nobody could tell me that I wasn't going to drink because I was. This time was different. It was here. And I went in with an open mind, and I did everything they told me to do. If you told me to get up at 7 to be there at breakfast, I'd get up at 6:45. I went to every group. I participated. I opened up. I shared. And that was the beginning of the process. I was too scared to drink. See, it was life or death for me. Because I didn't want to live anymore. So this time was different. I went in with an open mind, some willingness, and ready to take whatever suggestion you gave me. When I got ready to get out, I was scared to death. I asked for more time. See, I've been drinking 26 years. 30 days ain't enough for me. Please, get me some more time. I didn't find out till later that I was on scholarship. So that was all the time that I had. And I don't know where you're at in your recovery with your higher power. But for me, that was God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. See, God was that lady standing there at that church that day. He was giving me a shot to get a treatment. It was my choice to make. He still gave me the freedom of choice, but it was my choice to make, and I made the choice to go to treatment. It was also my higher power that Gave it to me for free. I've never paid a dime. But what it did do for me was got me away from my drug and the alcohol for that 30 days. That's what I needed. I've never been able to get away from drugs and alcohol for 30 days unless I was in jail or treatment. So I got away from my drugs. My head started clearing. And I took every suggestion that they gave me. Upon getting out, they told me to go to meetings. That's what I did. They told me to get a sponsor. That's what I did. They told me to work the steps. That's what I did. And early recovery sucks. You'll hear people say it's great, it's wonderful, all these things. It sucks. Some days you just want to drink and you're hanging on by a thread. And nobody picks up the phone and nobody's there. And it's just you and the drugs and alcohol, mano y mano, and you have to make that choice. Do I pick up or don't I? Recovery's here. It's not in the meeting. It's not in the sponsor. It's not in the steps. Those are exterior sources that help you get to where you need to be, and they're a vital part of recovery, but it's ultimately up in here. You know, those rough days, you have to make the choice. Do I want it or don't I? I worked the steps. I went to meetings. I changed my lifestyle. I changed the people I hang around, the places that I go. And one day at a time, I put together 7 years and 9 months. Don't get it twisted. I'm one drink away from being right back in that rehab center or right back in jail. One drink away, because that's who I am. I've never in my life had just one or two or three. I always take it to the extreme. And there's always consequences for my drinking and drugging. I'm not normal. And I've accepted that. And I've been able to use that as fuel for me staying clean. Self-awareness. I know who I am. I want to thank everybody for listening. More videos coming soon. This is just a little short intro. Give you a little piece. I'm going to give you more stories each week. And hopefully this helps somebody. Any comments? Any questions? Hit me up. jwitherspoon1966@gmail.com. I'd like to thank everybody for all the great sentiments you sent me earlier. I'll be doing another video shouting some of y'all out that really supported me and backed me. And thank you. Have a blessed night.